Hey friends, so another 3-hour match between Alcaraz and Medvedev, and I feel it was a repeat of last year, but not in terms of the quality because I think last year Medvedev was blown away by Alcaraz. This year it was much closer, and I think Medvedev did have his chances. He was not able to take those, and it was a shaky start from Alcaraz, but somehow he put it together as he has done all through the tournament and went on to win in the end. Now, even before we start the analysis, I think it's pretty easy to analyze this match because both the players have visible strengths and weaknesses, and I think it's known by their teams as well. So we all knew what Alcaraz needs to do to win the match, what Medvedev needs to do to win this match, and it's all about execution and how that particular player plays on that day. So let's talk about their strengths and weaknesses for a couple of minutes to better understand how the match unfolded. Now, when you talk about Alcaraz and Medvedev on paper, you know that Alcaraz doesn't have any visible weakness as of now in his game, apart from him losing concentration and maybe not selecting the correct shot at times, maybe getting too excited. But that's the only weakness. Now, that weakness isn't going to stay in a match forever, right? It's up and down. So maybe for a game or two, that weakness would come. He would feel the need to hit some amazing shots because he has got so much variety, so many options. It's difficult for him to understand which shot he needs to pick. So that's the only thing that could bother Alcaraz at this point of time, and against most of the opponents. Now for Medvedev, he has a solid baseline game. He has a great first serve. He is a great fighter. He tries to adapt to the situation, and I think he's better at it than most of the other players on tour. And that is why his matches are pretty close, no matter how good the opponent is. But still, it doesn't mean that he would be able to overcome all of his weaknesses. Now, his weaknesses would be sort of hidden if he's playing any other player, but against top players such as Alcaraz or Djokovic or Nadal or Federer, those weaknesses would be exposed, and those weaknesses would be enough for him to lose the match. That's what happened in this match. So, talking about the match statistics, let's look at that for a moment. So, if you see here, I feel the statistics doesn't really show you the complete picture. Now you can see the first serve for Alcaraz, first serve percentage is pretty low. It's 57%, but still he was able to win the match in 4 sets. That just shows you how good his game is, and it's very difficult for anyone to beat him, even when he's not playing his best. So overall, in today's match, I feel Alcaraz played around 70% of his top level. Medvedev played around 90% of his top level. So Medvedev could have done few things better to get the better of Alcaraz. And Alcaraz, as you know, he did not need to play his best to beat Medvedev because of the surface. Now that is also a very important factor. If it would have been an Australian Open match or at US Open or any other hard court, because the surface is different, it would have favored Medvedev a little bit, but not here. So if you see the winners to unforced errors, I mean, 55 winners is a huge number and only 37 unforced errors. That just shows you that Alcaraz from the back of the court was really playing well. Of course, he tried to hit two good shots a lot of times and he lost that point. He tried to use a lot of drop shots. Many times he came to the net as well. Not all the times he won. So he tried to use his variety, and even then, from the baseline, I think his game was solid. For Medvedev, I think he played a great match. Credit to him. He tried to fight it till the end, but his game was just not good enough towards the end of the match. Now, as you can see, even on the net, now Alcaraz won 72% of the points and Medvedev won 63% of the times. But the good thing is, Medvedev knew that he had to come forward. So you can see he came forward 56 times on the net and he was able to win 63% of those points. So that's a good number for Medvedev. That's a good improvement. And I think that is the direction in which he needs to go if he has to have any chances against Alcaraz or Sinner in future. He needs to improve that part of his game. So talking about the key factors in the match, I feel that Medvedev's first serve was not that effective. Apologies, I just missed to write serve there. So that was a very important factor. So if you see the statistics, Medvedev has put more than 60% of his first serves in, but still he hasn't won a lot of points. He won only 60 or 65%. Now that is a low number for him to win on first serve. And the reason is, it's not that Alcaraz was returning very well, but he was just getting the ball back into play. Now, because Medvedev has this weakness in the forecourt, he is not sure how to attack, whether to use a drop shot, whether to use a deep slice and come to the net, or which shot to use. And because on this surface, his forehand is really vulnerable because the ball keeps low. He has to use a lot of topspin, and his technique is not that good on the forehand. So he faces issues with that shot, and he obviously is not that confident to come to the net either. So that is the reason why his first serve was not that effective, and he did not win more than 65 or 66% of the first serve points. The second thing is Medvedev's four-court game. That is a weakness which was decisive. I think that's the only point. If he is able to improve on that, he can beat anyone in the world, right? And I feel that weakness was exploited and exposed in today's match. Now, backhand down the line was not applied by Medvedev. So, if you see the match completely, he did use his backhand down the line a few times, but that was like very rare. And that is the reason I feel that it gave Alcaraz the liberty of running around his backhand and not trying to go for a winner. So even though he was hitting inside out, he was just trying to keep the ball deep in the court. And he knew that Medvedev most of the times would not hit a backhand down the line. And that was, I think, that's a very important shot against any player who has all the shots in the book, such as Sinner or Alcaraz or Djokovic. If you don't have your backhand down the line, then it's not going to work for long. Now, good second serve quality by Alcaraz. I was really impressed by the second serve. It was deep. He used the variety a lot, and Medvedev was finding it hard to return. And he won numerous free points on his second serve, Alcaraz. Now, good use of variety in his game. As I mentioned, Alcaraz hit a lot of slices, drop shots, volleys, and he mixed it up. And it gave Medvedev like not many chances to understand or predict the game style. Right now, against any other player, Medvedev knows that if he plays well from the baseline, if he's aggressive, he would be able to win the match. But he knew from the beginning that Alcaraz is going to throw all those things to him. Now, would he be able to counter that? He tried to do that. He fought well, but he was not able to do that completely, and that's why he lost the match. Now, loss of concentration by Alcaraz did give few chances to Medvedev to take lead. I feel Medvedev did not play 100% well. He was 90% at of his level. But if he would have played 100%, I think he would have had a great chance of pushing this to a fifth set. Loss of concentration, I think this has been the case for Alcaraz throughout this tournament from match number one. But as I mentioned, he has such a good game. There is not much wrong in his game. So somehow he'll be able to figure out and win. And I try to compare this with Federer and Nadal because one of the example that comes to my mind is the 2005 US Open between Federer and Agassi in the final. And I think Agassi was playing his best tennis at that point of time. Obviously, he was at the end of his career, so uh, he was not the favorite in the match. But Federer did have moments where he lost his concentration. He made a lot of uncharacteristic errors. But still, because he had so much variety in his game, he started using drop shots. He had uh, great chances at the net as well. So in the end, he was able to win the match. And similar for Nadal as well. There have been many French Opens where Nadal has not played his best tennis. He has played only 70 to 80% of his level, but still he has been able to win that tournament. And that is because the opponent, like his game is so much suited to that surface, and he has all the shots that even if he's not playing well, still the opponent finds it difficult to beat him. So that is one point which I wanted to share with you all. Now, this is what I was talking about in the key factors. Now, this is the uncertain space for Medvedev. He doesn't know what to do from here or what is the best strategy. He tried to use different combinations today. He tried to go for a drop shot. He tried to go for a slice. He tried to go for an aggressive approach shot. But the execution was not there. He did manage to win a few points, but that is the weakness which is exploited by all his top opponents. So here also you can see this point also he lost because he tried to use a slice, but he couldn't keep that in the court. Another example, the backhand down the line. Now, this point you can see Alcaraz's court position. He is expecting. See, he is not even moving to the middle of the court because he is expecting that Medvedev would go cross court again, and that is the reason, right? Why I think this strategy or this shot, this backhand down the line, this is really important because it keeps Alcaraz guessing. It keeps him from running around his backhand and using his forehand all the time, which we know is a deadly shot, and that is what I think was missing in Medvedev's game today. He was hitting almost 8 of the 10 times backhand cross court, which allowed Alcaraz to dictate play. Ineffective slice, as we have discussed, Medvedev slice is not an effective shot at all. He does use it sometimes. It's an average shot, but if you see against top players, it has to be good enough, right? So if you see here, this was the shot that he had to hit on this point. He had to go deep, but his slice was too short. Although Alcaraz's passing shot was really good, but still it gave Alcaraz chance to hit that passing shot, right? If he had a good slice or a good drop shot, he would have won this point. So overall, I feel the weakness for Medvedev was exploited in this match. Alcaraz was not playing his best tennis, but still he was able to win. Medvedev did fight till the end. That's his quality. He tried to adapt, but it wasn't good enough. So that's the analysis, guys. Thanks for watching.